Hello, it's Jim Hutchens for the Jerusalem Connection Spot Report for this week. One of the most astute observers of current events from a Christian evangelical standpoint is Gary Bauer. Gary's a lover of Israel. He's a close personal friend. He has an organization called Campaign for Working Families, and he has a report that he sends out at the end of the day every day. One of his recent reports was about the religious cleansing that's going on in the Middle East. Western leaders are finally beginning to speak out against the wave of violence and terror that is targeting Christians in the Middle East. Quote, "We cannot accept and thereby facilitate what looks more and more like a particular wicked program of cleansing in the Middle East, religious cleansing." One leader said that this week. Unfortunately, those words were not those of President Obama. Rather, they were the words of the French President Nicolas Sarkozy. The attacks that began during the Christmas season are continuing. The Wall Street Journal reports that the Islamic regime in Iran has arrested dozens of Christians, and Tehran's governor says more arrests are coming. While Catholics were the victims of a horrific bombing in Baghdad and the Coptic Christians of the same suicide bombers in Cairo, Egypt, the governor of Tehran is targeting evangelical Protestants whose presence in Iran he believes amounts to, quote, cultural invasion of an enemy. To give you some idea of what tolerance looks like under the Iranian adherents of the, quote, religion of peace, consider this. Bibles are banned in Iran. The country's official language is prohibited from being used in sermons. Iran's security forces began raiding Christian homes on Christmas morning, and those arrested were charged with converting from Islam to Christianity. And according to the journal, such actions are considered sins under Islamic law and punishable by death in Iran. Gary Bauer goes on to say, "It never ceases to amaze me how political and media elites in this country can get so worked up by Tea Party members and conservative Christians, yet they seem to find no place for an outcry against the evils that stares them in the face. The alliance of the political left and radical Islamists is united by one thing: their shared intolerance for Judeo-Christian civilization." I guess the question is this going to continue? And my sense is that it is, and it's going to get worse. There's good news and bad news in this. The bad news is this, and Jesus tells us this in John chapter 16, "A time is coming when anyone who kills you will think he is offering service to God." He's speaking to his disciples. "They'll do such things because they've not known the Father or me," Jesus said. He goes on to say in Matthew chapter 24 that a great tribulation time is coming, such as has not been from the beginning of the world until now, no, and never will be again. And if those days had not been cut short, no human being would be saved. But for the sake of the elect, those days will be cut short. The Lord says in the book of Revelation through the Apostle John, Revelation chapter 9, where is the sounding of the sixth trumpet, that a vast army of some 200 million men is released to kill 1/3 of mankind. That would be 2 million plus today. Now the good news is this. Jesus said in Luke chapter 21 verse 36, he said, "Be alert, praying at all times that you may have the strength and the power to escape all that is about to happen and stand before the Son of Man." Let me ask you this. Do you think Jesus would encourage us to pray for something that he was not willing and able to fulfill? I don't think so. As a matter of fact, the Torah portion for this week is from Exodus chapter 12, covering the Passover events and the 10 plagues that led up to the Passover experience, where the firstborn of the Egyptians were slain. And it says, during all those 10 plagues, the children of Israel were not affected, only the Egyptians. God has the capacity to distinguish his own people from those who are afflicting them and bring punishment on them. He's done it before. I believe he'll do it again in our day. God bless. Till next week, Shalom Aleichem.